Hi everyone, my name's Stephen and I'm an interior designer, and I'm going to take you through the interior design process where we look at all the different elements that make up this system. We will have ideas for briefs, concepts, development work and schematics right up to a final design. So without further ado, shall we get on and do the practical? This is a typical brief that you might receive from a client for a project such as this. So when we have our brief, we look at all the different areas and we try and bring out all the things that are relevant to us when we start to design and plan for the space. This is an example of what I would normally do. So I would take the brief, I'd look at the client's viewpoints, the design viewpoints, the building's viewpoints, and all the ideas that the clients wish to include. And we'll extrapolate whatever we need to try and build a brief. So having broken down the different areas of the brief, you can see we have lots of information which will help us plan our schematics. So for the schematics part of this demonstration, I'm going to use a marker pen to highlight the different zones. Don't feel you have to use marker pen, you can use felt tips, crayons, whatever you've got handy, just have a range of colours so we can explore the different areas. So I'm using the different colours to zone out my spaces. Make sure you use the same colour for the same spaces over and over, so you have different schematic plans but the same continuity with different colours. So once you've marked out your spaces, always remember that you need to put annotation into your drawings. This helps you remind yourself exactly what you're doing, where you're putting things, and it helps you have continuity across all the different variations of layouts that you will have. Having planned out my spaces of where I'd like things, you can see me now adding traffic flow and analysing how you might move through the space. What I'm doing here is also looking at creating an extra space within a space. So I'm thinking of putting the study into the living room section to save myself space upstairs. So having done what we've done to the ground floor, you can see me doing exactly the same technique to the first floor where I'm analysing the space for the bedrooms. So now you can see me highlighting the windows. These are important features because you want to make the best use of natural light in your space, but it will also limit the way you develop the plans. So now we've finished both floors, you can see how we've applied the same process to the ground floor and the first floor. And now we have our overall design scheme and we're ready to move on. So even though we have our overall design, here's some examples of what I've done previously that show all the different methods and different layouts that you can work through to get to the stage of a finished, happy layout. Now we have our final design, it's time to start sketching in the detail, working out exactly where we want everything to be. Throughout the video you'll see me point to areas and work out in relationship to the building where things need to be, how the space is carved up, and analysing just how things work in relation to each other. So now I'm planning the kitchen space, and it's important to consider where you're going to put the different items that are needed in a kitchen. I need a hob, I need a sink, and I need tall units for fridge freezers and ovens, that kind of thing. One clever trick is to actually borrow space from the workshop so we can recess our hob into that space and not impact on the overall kitchen area. We've put the sink in the island, which again saves more space, and our tall units are up against the structural wall, giving us a nice open space in which to include all items that we need. Here you'll see me splitting up the room with axis. This is often a very overlooked part of design, but something that's so simple to create an elegant and symmetrical piece of layout. We use the different axes to line our furniture up so we get a really striking and elegant layout within the space. When we do our sketching and detailing, it's often a really good idea to create a mental note for yourself on the paper. So for my fireplace idea, I've created a small sketch detailing what I was thinking about at the time, whereby I've created low seating for extra space within the entertaining space of the living room. So we applied the same basic techniques to the upstairs to provide a really interesting bedroom layout covering all the different aspects of the brief. So when considering your bedroom spaces, you want to ensure that you work out all the different layouts, what's needed for each of the bedrooms, however many you might be including, but just think it through, think about your access points into the bedrooms and where things are going to be placed. So when considering the design for the master bedroom, think about all the different aspects you want to include. This is where you can really have fun with the design. You've got bigger space, more room to think about how you want to include different aspects. Like the ensuite, you might want to provide a separate toilet, double vanities. Into the bedroom space, you might want to include a separate sitting area. And it's always nice if we can find space to create a dressing room. We've created a really lovely layout for the bedroom spaces. All things have been considered within the brief, and I'm quite happy with that. But before we get to this point, you should think about doing a number of different layouts, possibly 3, 4, 5, like we did with the schematics. We do different options and different versions so we know we've got the very best layout that we can have. So let's just take a moment and look back at what we've produced. We've gone through the brief and what we need from the brief. This is fed into our schematics, and we've produced some different areas and considerations for this. Then we've moved into our development work, where we've created the spaces, played with the ideas, and we use this to feed into our final presentational drawing. So that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope this process has been really interesting and informative, and that you've taken whatever you need for your projects from this. And I'll see you in the next one.